China is home to 4 of the world's 10 most valuable startups, according to CB Insights. Goldman Sachs estimates its companies raised about $31 billion in venture capital in the second quarter, beating the U.S. for the first time. This backlash against Didi shows how the combination of sky-high valuations and pressure from investors to produce returns can lead to missteps, undermining public trust at a time when a slowing economy is already fueling middle-class anxiety. So, is China falling out of love with its unicorns? Well, maybe this one. Joining us now, Bloomberg Tech's Selina Wang. So the story is actually, there's much more to it. I mean, first of all, it's not just one woman who was murdered allegedly by a driver, but 2. And also there's reporting that there are, in fact, dozens of sexual assaults and sexual harassment complaints tied to Didi drivers.
Right. This isn't the first time that Hitch has been suspended because of these alleged cases. This is actually the second murder in just a span of a few months. And what's especially concerning about this case is that just a day before the murder happened, another woman had flagged this particular driver to the company, saying that this man had actually followed her after he dropped her off at the place. And furthermore, the victim's friend from this most recent case said that the company had actually been delaying the response to reports that she had made to the service as well. Now, Didi has said that there was an issue on the part of their safety department and they didn't take the correct protocols to follow up with the investigation within 2 hours. And as you mentioned, there have been many other reports against Didi. At least 53 women have been raped or sexually harassed by Didi drivers in the past 4 years. That's according to Southern Weekly. And then Caixin found at least 14 rape cases involving Didi, citing court documents.
So Didi had implemented some new rules, including that drivers of the opposite sex drivers couldn't pick up passengers of the opposite sex during nighttime hours, which seems a little, it's like a stretch. I mean, seriously? That's the best they can do?
Didi has certainly made some mistakes in terms of their safety measures. And after the first incident earlier this year with the flight attendant, they wanted to protect women from dangerous male drivers. So, as you said, they implemented this rule where during the late hours of the night and early mornings, male drivers cannot pick up female passengers. Now, obviously, that caused a total uproar of criticism that not only is that very discriminating against women, it's also inconvenient for women because most drivers are men. But they are saying that they are trying to put in other safety protocols, including an SOS button, having stronger background checks, all sorts of other rules.
Well, there are more deep-seated problems here because there are comments in the Didi app where, women notice that male drivers would be commenting on their looks.
So they put in this basically comments feature where you could comment on how the passenger was as a rider and sort of rate them, sort of like in the Uber app. Now, the problem was that the male drivers were using it to comment on the appearance of the riders. So they have ultimately disbanded that optionality to comment in that sort of way.
So look, bigger picture here, the Chinese government has actually been very critical of Didi, which, as we know, is unusual coming from the Chinese government itself, which is normally very, more likely to raise these companies up. This at a time when there is a lot of wealth concentrated in a few smaller privately held Chinese tech companies. How do you think Didi can recover from this?
Absolutely. The Chinese government has taken a very strong approach against this. They're saying that Didi has this unshirkable responsibility and that they need to improve. They need to discontinue this app. They need to be in discussions with the government before they can start it up and running again. The government also said it's cracking down on what they call dishonest behavior in the transportation sector. At the same time, Didi is the largest ride-hailing app in the world. It is the most valuable company in China. The second largest competitor is a tiny, tiny fraction of the company. So it's unclear whether or not this is really going to hurt their bottom line, and even if a lot of high-profile deletions are going to cause really any sizable impact on its user base.